Today we're going to work on translating sentences from English into Spanish, step by step. The first sentence is, I need to open the window. How do you say I need in Spanish? Yo necesito. Yo necesito. We can drop the pronoun as well and just say necesito. Necesito is the conjugated verb indicating the person already. And how do you say to open? Abrir. Abrir. And the window? La ventana. Yo necesito abrir la ventana. Yo necesito abrir la ventana. So this is an easy sentence, right? We can translate word by word from English into Spanish. And to create even more sentences similar to this one, you can just swap the verb to open for another one and maybe the complement. The next sentence is, we can't find the keys. How would you say that in Spanish? We can't is no podemos. No podemos. We can also add the pronoun if needed. We in Spanish can mean nosotros or nosotras. Nosotros no podemos. Find in this case is encontrar. Encontrar. In Spanish, the modal verbs don't work the same way as in English. We still conjugate them like any other verb. No podemos encontrar. And how do you say the keys? Las llaves. No podemos encontrar las llaves. No podemos encontrar las llaves. We have to make sure that the articles we use in Spanish match the gender and number of the noun. All right, the next sentence is, he has to wake up early tomorrow. How would you say he has to? Él tiene que. Él tiene que. And wake up? Despertarse. Despertarse. This is a reflexive verb, so we add se to the infinitive. Early is temprano and tomorrow is mañana. Él tiene que despertarse temprano mañana. Él tiene que despertarse temprano mañana. All right, how about I'm looking for my phone? How would you say that? I'm is yo estoy. Yo estoy. And looking is buscando. Buscando. So in Spanish, the progressive tense is formed using estar plus the gerund. Estoy buscando. And we can also drop the pronoun here. In English, we have to use for, the preposition after a verb like looking. In Spanish, we don't need that. So we just jump to my phone. Mi teléfono. Estoy buscando mi teléfono. The verb buscando already indicates that we're looking for something. Estoy buscando mi teléfono. Now let's look at a question. How would you say in Spanish, do you remember that movie? Let's start with do you remember? In Spanish, we could just say ¿recuerdas? ¿Recuerdas? We don't have the helping verb like in English, do. We can add the pronoun and it's usually done after the verb. ¿Recuerdas tú? That movie is esa película. ¿Recuerdas esa película? ¿Recuerdas esa película? So here we have to make sure that matches the gender of the noun. In this case is esa. ¿Recuerdas esa película? And how would you say we just finished dinner? We just finished becomes just acabamos de. Acabamos de. So acabar de plus an infinitive verb means we just did something. So we just finished dinner. Dinner in Spanish in this case is cenar. Acabamos de cenar. Acabamos de cenar. Acabar de is a very useful structure in Spanish. Acabamos de cenar. All right, now let's take a look at one in the past tense. I tried to call you yesterday. How would you say that? I tried is intenté. Intenté. And then to call you is llamarte. Llamarte. So here we just attach the pronoun te to the infinitive verb. Instead of making it two words like call you, we just say llamarte. Intenté llamarte. And yesterday is ayer. Ayer. Intenté llamarte ayer. Intenté llamarte ayer. We could also not attach the pronoun te and just use it at the beginning. Te intenté llamar ayer. But that one is less common. It's also a little confusing because te goes first. Let's look at another sentence. How would you say she continued talking for hours? Here, she continued is ella siguió. Ella siguió. And talking is hablando. Hablando. For hours. Por horas. Ella siguió hablando por horas. Ella siguió hablando por horas. We can also drop the pronoun. Just keep in mind if we just say siguió hablando por horas, that could be for she or he. So if you want to be very clear on the person, you add the pronoun here. Ella siguió hablando por horas. All right, the next one is I was cooking when the phone rang. How would you say that in Spanish? I was is estaba. Estaba. And then cooking is cocinando. Cocinando. When is cuando. Cuando. And then in Spanish, we usually put the verb before the noun here. So we would say sonó el teléfono. Sonó el teléfono. Sonó is rang and el teléfono, the phone. Estaba cocinando cuando sonó el teléfono. Estaba cocinando cuando sonó el teléfono. If you put sonó at the end, it could also work. It's not as common though. But technically you could say estaba cocinando cuando el teléfono sonó. And that matches the structure of the English sentence. The next sentence is he still hasn't answered my message. How would you say this in Spanish? He still becomes él todavía. Él todavía hasn't answered. No ha contestado. And my message is mi mensaje. Él todavía no ha contestado mi mensaje. So this is the present perfect. We use the verb haber plus the past participle. Él todavía no ha contestado mi mensaje. It is also possible to move todavía to the end. Él no ha contestado mi mensaje todavía. Either one will work. All right, let's look at a tougher one. How would you say in Spanish, when you arrive, I will explain everything? We already saw before that when is cuando. Cuando. You arrive, llegues. Cuando llegues. We can add the pronoun as well. Cuando tú llegues. I will explain. Te explicaré. Te explicaré. So here we're using the pronoun te because I'm saying I will explain to you. Te explicaré. Explicaré is will explain. It's the verb conjugated to the future tense. Everything is todo. So in Spanish we have cuando llegues, te explicaré todo. Cuando llegues, te explicaré todo. We can add the pronouns. Cuando tú llegues, yo te explicaré todo. Cuando tú llegues, yo te explicaré todo. but the pronouns are optional, especially in this sentence since we know the verbs are being conjugated to the singular you person. The tall man is wearing a black jacket. How would you say this in Spanish? Let's start with the first part. How do you say the tall man? In Spanish, we actually switch the adjectives. They come after the noun unless there's a verb in between. So here it is el hombre alto. El hombre alto. Is wearing can be just one verb in Spanish and it's conjugated to lleva. Lleva. A black jacket. The same thing happens with black here. It's placed after jacket. Una chaqueta negra. El hombre alto lleva una chaqueta negra. El hombre alto lleva una chaqueta negra. El hombre alto lleva una chaqueta negra. The next sentence is, her new phone works better than the old one. How would you say this in Spanish? Let's start with the first part, her new phone. I mentioned before that adjectives usually come after the nouns in Spanish, but there are some that can be placed before. So we could technically say, su nuevo teléfono. Su nuevo teléfono. Or we could put it after as well. Su teléfono nuevo. Su teléfono nuevo. Nuevo works like this. You can come after or you can come before. There is some nuance to it. If it comes before the noun, it means new or recently acquired. If it's after the noun, it usually means brand new or unused. But for our purpose, we can use it before or after. Not all the adjectives work like this. There is a subset of them that can be used either way. Su nuevo teléfono. Works, in this case, is conjugated as funciona. Funciona. So work in Spanish can mean trabajar, but when we're talking about a thing, we use it as funcionar. So funciona. Better than in Spanish is mejor que. Mejor que. The old one. In Spanish, it's just el viejo. El viejo. So in English, we have to include a placeholder word for the noun, right? When we omit it, like one, the old one. In Spanish, we can drop it because the adjective or the article already tells us what we mean. So the sentence ends up being, su nuevo teléfono funciona mejor que el viejo. Now let's say it faster. Su nuevo teléfono funciona mejor que el viejo. Listen to how the words are connected, especially between que él, it just becomes quel. Quel. Su nuevo teléfono funciona mejor que el viejo. All right, the next sentence is, that blue car looks very expensive. How would you say that in Spanish? Let's start with that blue car. In Spanish, it is ese, because car is a masculine noun, ese. And then here, colors usually come after the noun. So it becomes coche azul. Ese coche azul. Looks in Spanish can be parece. We have to conjugate it to the third person singular. Parece. And then very expensive, muy caro. Muy caro. Ese coche azul parece muy caro. Ese coche azul parece muy caro. All right, how about my sister has beautiful long hair? How would you say that in Spanish? How do you say my sister? Mi hermana. Mi hermana. Has is tiene. Tiene is conjugated to the third person singular. So here we're using two adjectives, beautiful and long. In Spanish, we're going to put the noun first. So it becomes un cabello. Un cabello. Hair is used more like a countable and singular noun. That's why we use the article. Think about it as a collective noun, the entire set of hair on the head. This specific sentence can be arranged in different ways. So we could say un cabello largo y hermoso, long and beautiful. Mi hermana tiene un cabello largo y hermoso. But we could also say mi hermana tiene un hermoso cabello largo. Mi hermana tiene un hermoso cabello largo. So, hermoso is one of those adjectives that can come before the noun as well, as we saw earlier with nuevo. So, we could use either one. If we use the first one, mi hermana tiene un cabello largo y hermoso, we have to add y between both adjectives, and. If we use the second one, we don't use that extra end. Mi hermana tiene un hermoso cabello largo. So, just be mindful of the adjectives, especially when we have two. All right, the next sentence is, our neighbors are very friendly and kind. How do we say this in Spanish? Let's start with our neighbors. It is nuestros vecinos. Nuestros vecinos. So here we are assuming that they are either all male or a mix of genders. Are very friendly and kind. Are in Spanish is son. Son. So we're conjugating the verb. Very is muy. Muy. And here we're just going to follow the same structure. Friendly could be amistosos. Amistosos. And kind. Y amables. Nuestros vecinos son muy amistosos y amables. Nuestros vecinos son muy amistosos y amables. If we had used nuestras vecinas, our female neighbors, we would need to change amistosos to amistosas to match the gender. Nuestras vecinas son muy amistosas y amables. Amables stay the same. Usually adjectives that end with the letter E stay the same for both genders. Nuestros vecinos son muy amistosos y amables. All right, how would you say in Spanish, that restaurant serves cheap but tasty food? How do you say that restaurant? It is ese restaurante. Ese because restaurante is a masculine noun. Serves, in this case, is sirve. Sirve. So here we see cheap but tasty food. The noun is food. So in Spanish, that comes first. Sirve comida. And then we say cheap. Barata, but, pero, and tasty is sabrosa. Ese restaurante sirve comida barata pero sabrosa. Now let's say it faster. Ese restaurante sirve comida barata pero sabrosa. So here the noun comes before the adjectives. The last sentence I have today is her bag is heavier than mine. So how do you say her bag in Spanish? It is su bolso. Su bolso is heavier than mine. So here is heavier, es más pesado. Es más pesado. So in English, we use y or when we're comparing things, right? In Spanish, we tend to use es más or es menos, is less. And then than is que, mine is el mío. Su bolso es más pesado que el mío. So in Spanish, it's literally her bag is more heavy than mine. But in English, we have that rule to add the "-or" ending. Su bolso es más pesado que el mío. Su bolso es más pesado que el mío. How do you say in Spanish, you have a dog? The informal you is tú. tú. And the verb is conjugated as tienes. Tú tienes. You have. A dog is un perro. Tú tienes un perro. Tú tienes un perro. This sentence structure is very similar to the English sentence, and you can substitute a dog with other vocabulary, like a car, for example. Tú tienes un carro. Just remember that the articles change in gender and number in Spanish. So if you want to say a house, it would be una casa. Una casa because casa is a feminine noun. How would you say they work a lot in Spanish? Let's start with they. It could really be ellos or ellas. Ellos for an all-male group or a mixed group. Ellas for an all-female group. The verb conjugation for work is trabajan. Trabajan. And a lot is mucho. Ellos trabajan mucho. Ellos trabajan mucho. We don't actually have to use the personal pronouns in Spanish. We could just say trabajan mucho because the verb is conjugated to the person. All right, how would you say in Spanish, he is eating an apple? How do you say he? Él. But again, we don't have to use it. It's not really needed unless you want to be very specific about who's doing what. Is eating becomes está comiendo. Está comiendo. And how do you say an apple in Spanish? Una manzana. Él está comiendo una manzana. Él está comiendo una manzana. And again, here there's not a lot of change from the English structure to the Spanish one. It's very similar. We just have to make sure we're conjugating the verb to be, which in this case is estar in Spanish. And in Spanish, we use estar to put together the progressive tenses. Comiendo is the gerund in Spanish, the equivalent to the ing verbs in English. And again, here you can substitute una manzana with a different food. Muy bien. The next sentence is, if I had money, I would travel. So here we are seeing a conditional. How do you say if in Spanish? Sí. Sí. So the same way as we say yes, but this one doesn't have an accent. So here, if I had money is not a real thing, right? It is something we wish. In Spanish, this becomes the subjunctive mood. So if I had money, this had in Spanish is tuviera. Tuviera. We use the subjunctive mood to talk about wishes and desires, and that's why it's conjugated this way. And I have a video explaining that mood, and I'll leave you the link on the description. Si yo tuviera dinero, it's a wish. And then we see I would travel. I would travel becomes viajaría. Viajaría, just one word, or we could add yo viajaría, although it's not needed. In English, would is the helping verb to talk about conditional things. In Spanish, the conditional is an actual tense, so it's just one word, one verb. Si yo tuviera dinero, viajaría. All right, these sentences will get harder. How would you say in Spanish, we often go to the movies on Fridays? We can start with the pronoun, although again, it's not needed, so we could say nosotros or nosotras for we, and often is translated as a menudo. A menudo. Because we're using nosotros, we have to conjugate the verb to go, and it would be vamos. To the movies is al cine. And on Fridays, because it's a plural word, we're going to use los viernes. Los viernes. A menudo vamos al cine los viernes. A menudo vamos al cine los viernes. excelente trabajo. How would you say, 2 days ago I finished reading that book? So in Spanish, we actually start with ago, and that becomes hace. Hace. 2 days is 2 días. Hace 2 días. That means 2 days ago. I finished reading is terminé de leer. Terminé de leer. We can add the personal pronoun and say yo terminé. And that book is ese libro. Hace 2 días terminé de leer ese libro. Hace 2 días terminé de leer ese libro. All right, how would you say in Spanish, I woke up late because I forgot to set the alarm? Let's start with the first part. How do you say I woke up? Desperté. Desperté. Late is tarde. Tarde. And how do you say because? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? I forgot is olvidé. Olvidé. And to set in this case is poner. Poner. And do you know how to say the alarm? La alarma. Desperté tarde porque olvidé poner la alarma. Desperté tarde porque olvidé poner la alarma. All right, the next sentence is, tomorrow I have an important meeting at the office. How do you say tomorrow in Spanish? Mañana. Mañana. And how do you say I have? Yo tengo. Or we could just say tengo. The pronoun is not needed. So for an important meeting, in Spanish, we would normally put important after the meeting. So it becomes una reunión importante. Una reunión importante. But in this case, it's actually okay if you leave importante first. Una importante reunión. It doesn't sound as natural, but it makes sense. And how do you say at the office? En la oficina. En la oficina. So office is a feminine noun. Mañana tengo una reunión importante en la oficina. Mañana tengo una reunión importante en la oficina. All right, let's take a look at a question. How would you say, at what time did you get off work today? How do you say at what time in Spanish? ¿A qué hora? ¿A qué hora? There's no literal translation for the helping verb do in Spanish. So we just kind of jump to get off. ¿A qué hora sales? Or sales tú, since it's a question. Of work, today. Del trabajo, hoy. ¿A qué hora sales del trabajo hoy? ¿A qué hora sales del trabajo hoy? Muy bien. And the last question. Did you finish cleaning your room? How do you say did you finish in Spanish? It is terminaste. Terminaste. And again, we don't have a specific verb for the helping did. Cleaning becomes de limpiar. De limpiar. And your room, tu habitación. ¿Terminaste de limpiar tu habitación? ¿Terminaste de limpiar tu habitación? She always arrives early. How would you translate this sentence into Spanish? She is ella. Ella. And how do you say always? Siempre. Siempre. Arrives is llega because we're conjugating the verb to the correct person. And how do you say early? Temprano. Ella siempre llega temprano. Ella siempre llega temprano. So it's very similar as the English sentence. How about this one? Yesterday we went to the cinema. How do you say yesterday in Spanish? Ayer. Ayer. We went becomes fuimos. Fuimos. We can add the pronoun as well. Nosotros fuimos, but it's not required. And how do you say to the cinema? Al cine. Al cine. Al is a contraction in Spanish. It really is a el, but because there are two vowels, a and e, we combine them. Al. Ayer fuimos al cine. Ayer fuimos al cine. So again, the Spanish sentence is very similar to the English structure here. How about this one? He speaks very fast. How do you say he speaks in Spanish? Él habla. Él habla. And very fast. Very here is muy. Muy. And fast is rápido. Él habla muy rápido. Él habla muy rápido. So again, similar structure as the English sentence. How about this one? He will probably come tomorrow. How would you translate this sentence in Spanish? So there are a few ways to do it. If we use the pronoun, we can start with él, he, él, and then probablemente. Probably. Probablemente. In Spanish, we have a future tense, right? So we don't use will. We just use vendrá. Will come. Vendrá. Él probablemente vendrá. And how do you say tomorrow? Mañana. Mañana. Él probablemente vendrá mañana. Él probablemente vendrá mañana. If we don't use the pronoun, we just start with probablemente. Probablemente vendrá mañana. And it means the same thing. Él probablemente vendrá mañana. All right, how would you say this one? I am quite tired today. How do you say I am in Spanish? In this case, we're using estoy. Estoy, because it's a temporary state of being tired. Quite is bastante. Estoy bastante. And tired is cansado for a male speaker or cansada for a female speaker. So I would say cansada. And how do you say today? Hoy. Estoy bastante cansada hoy. Estoy bastante cansada hoy. We can also add the pronoun before estoy and we can say yo estoy. Yo estoy bastante cansada hoy. Alright, the next sentence is I have never been to Spain. How would you say this in Spanish? So here we can start with the pronoun if we're going to use it and just start with yo. Yo. But in Spanish, the verbs have to stay together. So we would put nunca, never, first. Nunca and have been becomes he estado. We cannot separate he estado. That's why never has to go first. Yo nunca he estado. To Spain in this case is en España. Yo nunca he estado en España. We could also drop the pronoun and just say nunca he estado en España. So in English, we can put never between have and been, but in Spanish, it doesn't go there. It goes before. All right, how about this other sentence? It almost always rains in April. How would you translate this into Spanish? So we actually have to start with the adverbs. casi siempre, almost always, casi siempre. And then rains here becomes llueve, llueve. And how do you say in April? En abril. Casi siempre llueve en abril. So there's no direct pronoun for it in Spanish. We just kind of take the verb conjugation for the third person singular and use that for it as well. Casi siempre llueve en abril. How about this one? The train arrived late. How do you say the train in Spanish? El tren. El tren. And arrived. Llegó. Llegó. And how do you say late? Tarde. El tren llegó tarde. El tren llegó tarde. So fairly simple here. The next one is we walked slowly through the park. Let's start with we walked. How do you say that in Spanish? Caminamos. Caminamos. We can also add the pronoun if needed. Nosotros caminamos. And how do you say slowly? Lentamente. Lentamente. Through the park is por el parque. Caminamos lentamente por el parque. Caminamos lentamente por el parque. Very similar structure. The next one is I study Spanish daily. How would you translate that into Spanish? First, how do you say I study? Yo estudio. Yo estudio. Or we can drop the pronoun and just say estudio. Spanish is español. Español. And how do you say daily? Diariamente. Diariamente. Estudio español diariamente. Estudio español diariamente. Very good. How about she cooks badly but she tries? How do you say she cooks in Spanish? Ella cocina. Ella cocina. And badly? Mal. Ella cocina mal. But she tries. But is pero. Pero. And this is one of the verbs that we have to use with an indirect pronoun. Lo intenta. Lo refers back to cooking. Lo intenta, but she tries. We can add ella as well. Pero ella lo intenta. But it's not necessary because we already said ella at the beginning. Ella cocina mal, pero lo intenta. Ella cocina mal, pero lo intenta. Here's a tougher sentence. His answer surprised me quite a lot. How do you say his answer in Spanish? Su respuesta. Su respuesta. And surprised me? So in Spanish we have to use me first. Me sorprendió. Me sorprendió. Su respuesta me sorprendió. And quite a lot? It's actually just one word in Spanish. Bastante. Bastante. Su respuesta me sorprendió bastante. Su respuesta me sorprendió bastante. And I said this sentence was more challenging because in Spanish we could also say me sorprendió bastante su respuesta. Me sorprendió bastante su respuesta, which means the exact same thing. His answer surprised me quite a lot. But in Spanish, the sentence structure is more flexible. Not in all sentences, but in some cases, the words can be moved around and it has the same meaning. And the best way to learn this is just to keep practicing, especially through reading, you'll start noticing a lot of these patterns. I hope this was helpful. To keep learning more Spanish, go watch this video next. Muchas gracias.